Is it a wise decision to want to be a full-time photographer in 2025? I know I put photography in the title, but this is focusing on photography and videography because both of those careers I feel are in jeopardy when it comes to someone wanting to do that full-time, like their self-employed business. And in this video, I'm going to discuss some of the reasons why I feel this way, and I would love for you to weigh in. Whether you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. And if you are a videographer or photographer, let me know if you are currently experiencing a lower booking rate in 2025 than you have in the past years. Personally, I've experienced a lower booking rate than last year. And when you do book somebody, it seems like it takes a little bit more work, a little bit more marketing than I've ever experienced. First, I think that the videography and photography space is heavily saturated. I'm constantly seeing new photography pages pop up on Instagram, or people I personally know are asking me about cameras, and they're thinking about jumping into the space. I also run a photography studio, so I'm constantly seeing new people come in and out of here. I have conversations with them. The vast majority of people that book my space have jumped into either photography or video within the last year or two. And when you have new people jumping into a business, what typically happens is they undervalue themselves. I definitely did it in my early years, but I think the extent that people are doing it now is bananas. I see people offering brand videos for $100 or a $50 photo shoot, and they're offering 20 edited photos and all the raw files at no additional cost. And that just really muddies up the waters, because clients see that stuff and then they'll come to a more seasoned photographer like me, and sometimes they want to create a bidding war. And I'm like, respectfully, you might want to book that person. I can't match that, and I'm not gonna match that. That doesn't happen all the time to me, but it has happened. It's a bunch of new photographers, a bunch of new videographers, and a limited pool of clients. I don't know what it's like in your particular area, but here it's pretty saturated. I can just think back a couple of years ago. I didn't see that many photographers out and about. I shot some prom photos this past April and May, and the park was flooded with photographers. Never in my life have I seen that many people out that are, professional photographers. So it's definitely oversaturated, and, people are undervaluing themselves and just doing shoots and projects for way less than they should be doing them. I mean, I can't say what somebody should be charging, but oversaturation is definitely a thing that this industry is suffering from right now. And that's because of another problem, which is accessibility. Like, gear is so affordable right now. Now, I say that's a problem because it's a double-edged sword. It's nice to be able to purchase a cheap third-party lens and not having to go get a G Master, but it just creates a lot of people coming into the space. You got people buying cheaper cameras, used cameras, these third-party lenses. Us as creatives, we know that a G Master lens is gonna look better than the Young Lao or whatever, but clients don't know that. If a photographer is shooting with a $200 lens versus a $1,000 lens, they don't know. We're the only ones that pixel peep and zoom in and do all this crazy stuff. You don't know what you don't know. So most clients don't even realize the difference between a photographer that is meticulous in like his lighting and his composition and all of these things. They don't notice those technicalities versus like a intermediate or a new photographer. Some people is literally just going to come down to price. It doesn't matter if you're an award-winning photographer, if you've shot for some of the biggest names, that doesn't matter. It's who can I afford and who's decent enough. Now, you do have that pocket of people that are going to book the veteran, the super professional, but the majority of people nowadays, they don't care. That oversaturation is just going to increase as technology gets better and better, because there's a smaller barrier to entry than there ever has been. I think back in 2017, I got the Crane 2 gimbal. I think that was upwards of like $600, $700. You can get a gimbal now for $400, or if you're going to get a used one, probably $200, $300. That's far more advanced than that Crane 2 was. So if we're thinking about the future and wanting to do this as, a full-time job, I just don't know. I mean, we're getting to the point where some people are not even booking the cheap photographer. They're doing it themselves. I saw a few people this past holiday season. They went and bought photography backdrops, set them up in their home, put their phones on a tripod, and took some pretty decent Christmas photos. They ain't pay anybody. I've seen that with a lot of businesses as well. They're shooting their own content on a phone, or they're going to buy them a used camera, and they're just doing it themselves. And you also have this new wave of creators that are not even using cameras. They are using their phones to shoot everything. I didn't even know this existed. I was doing the shoot for this guy recently, and we're talking. He's a graphic designer, and he asked me if I heard about this content creator that goes around and shoots content for local businesses. He pulls up the person's Instagram, and it's behind the scenes videos on there, and they are literally shooting social media content for local businesses with nothing but a cell phone, like a ring light. I wouldn't have the confidence to go into a meeting and say, I can shoot your content. I just got this phone right here, but it's working. I also saw on social media that people are doing that for weddings also. They're going in with phones, filming, and then they're returning a video within the same day or within 24 hours. I saw somebody that I know on Facebook a few months ago. They actually didn't have a budget for a photographer or videographer. So they put out a post and said, we want everybody to film as much content as possible, take as many pictures as possible. Just send us everything you have, and we're gonna make our own wedding album, our own videos with that footage. We're also dealing with artificial intelligence. I know y'all saw the wave of people doing the AI headshots, the AI photos of themselves that look nothing like them, might I add. It's like a super doctored up version of what they are. Real talk, I don't see why anybody would do that. I think it's cringe. If you're doing it for fun, whatever, but to make those type of images and then put them on your website or your business card, I think that is insane. We're dealing with AI, we're dealing with oversaturation. It's just not looking good. Now, with all that being said, if you still feel like I want to be a full-time photographer, I want to be a full-time videographer, that's fine. I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of real talk. What I will say is maybe you should have something to back you up. Photography and videography is my main thing. Most of the income that I make comes from that, but it's not all I do. As I said earlier, I have a rental studio. I have dabbled in real estate investing. I made a pretty significant amount of money doing that a couple of years ago, and I'm actually thinking about getting back into it. As of January of this year, I started studying stock trading, and then I started making my first plays back in February, March. I've made some gains, I've taken some losses, but I'm getting better and better at it. I'm starting to understand it more. I've always invested in stock. Well, not always, but since 2020. So I have a few things that I do to bring in income that just doesn't solely come from photography and videography. It hasn't always been that way. About 7-8 years ago, I was strictly just doing photography and videography. That was the only way I made income. And honestly, I just don't see how somebody could do that today and still have like quality of life, being able to take a vacation when you want to, or if you have kids. And I just don't see how you could do all that solely doing photography and videography. I mean, maybe there's a few people at this moment, but I think that's drying up every day more and more. The industry is just not what it was. I wish people that are aspiring to be full-time today, I wish they could have experienced it, a decade ago. This is something I just wanted to talk about. A lot of my videos are inspired by just like real life situations or conversations that me and some of my colleagues have. Most of the people that I talk to on a regular basis are into the photography, videography space. Again, if you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. I want to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. Do you think that photography and videography is still a suitable career path if you're trying to do this full time? All the signs are pointing towards no. That's what I'm going to say. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I also don't want to see people make a mistake that might interfere with their livelihood. So again, let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.